What's up, boys and girls? My name is Logan, aka Red Devil PB. I'm bringing Berserk and the Band of the Hawk to you today. Now, I recognize that this game probably isn't the most relevant anymore, but I wanted to talk about it anyway and sort of explain my thoughts on the game. Because I've played Warriors games, I've told the story numerous times, but in case this is the first time you've ever seen a video of mine, I've been playing Warriors-like games, and I mean in the vein of like Dynasty Warriors and stuff, since I was literally 4 years old. I have always loved these games. It's just the genre itself is very near and dear to me, and I've always loved it. Now, Berserk, how does it stand compared to Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, Zelda Hyrule Warriors? Well, as far as Zelda Hyrule Warriors goes, I can't tell you. I've never played that game. I've played almost all of them except the Nintendo exclusives, because I've never had a Wii or, whatever the hell they got nowadays, Wii U, Switch, whatever the fuck, don't have them. But I have played these types of games extensively. Now, to get this out of the way, I am a very big fan of Berserk. That has affected my opinion a considerable deal. If I had never played Berserk, if I didn't know about it or whatever, if I said did I say if I'd never played? I meant if I had never watched Berserk, right? If I didn't know of Berserk, this game will not make you a fan. It wouldn't have made me a fan. This game is very shallow as far as the story. Berserk is a very, scroll through the menu, make sure the opening doesn't play, is a very, I won't say lovely story. For any who know the story, it isn't, but it's a very, very well done, very deep story. In my opinion, I think it's pretty good. Now, this game is very shallow in that department. You know, Dynasty Warriors, I think they do a pretty good job of telling history as was in the Three Kingdoms novel, which that was very exaggerated and a lot of it wasn't exactly truth, but as far as that novel went and actual history goes, of course you don't want that to be the entire setup you get for it, but that'll tell you quite a bit. Let me show you how you get most of the story in this game. I'll try not to give out too much spoilers here. This is the event section. Let's look at Iron Broadsword. I'm playing with no sound on, so you'll have to forgive me if I'm cutting out some audio here, but that's actually one of the better ones. Seriously, you will not get much war story from this game whatsoever, and I think that is just a damn shame, because Berserk, it's awesome. There's a reason why the Berserk story has impacted so much mainstream media. Dark Souls, for example, was heavily inspired by Berserk, from what I understand, and for good reason. The battles, mostly taken from the anime. Now, I will say this: there's quite a bit of filler in actually, I think for every single mission of note, which what I mean by that is you can see that for a lot of these missions they have like the egg special objectives. These are missions of note. Just about all of them. Not exactly all of them, but a lot of them are. Any one of those that doesn't have an egg is complete and utter filler. The story mode will take you about 2.5 hours, give or take, 20 minutes or whatever, and that's being generous. there is not a lot of depth here. It goes to the Hawk of the Millennium Empire arc, which I'm guessing is just about where this anime going on right now, Berserk 2017, is going to end. Episode 12 came out a few days ago as of this recording. So, story mode is shallow, doesn't tell much of the story. Free mode is just, let me touch on this just real quick. Now, if you look at the bottom right of your screen, you can see a little portrait of Guts right there on the map. Now, this section is reserved for playable characters. Now, you'll notice for any mission of note, Guts is actually the only playable character, with the exception of filler missions. Now, there are 8 total characters in this game. Let's see. Guts, Griffith, I don't know if that's how you properly pronounce it. That's what I'm going with. I'm sorry, people. Casca, Judo, Serpico, Shirke, Zod, Wild. That's it. Now, you can get, for some of them, Guts has, 15 fucking costumes, whatever. It honestly makes no difference. And in the same topic of discussion about making no difference, it does not matter what difficulty you play on. Seriously. There is no discernible difference, I would say, from easy to normal to hard. Now, there is a big difference between like easy and Berserk. Berserk being the hardest difficulty in the game. But Berserk and hard, Berserk and normal maybe, no real difference. Not that I could tell. I have played a lot of these missions on Berserk difficulty, although not nearly as much as, what is that, 25, 30 missions look like, roughly. I've done about 6 or so on Berserk, and that was for a trophy. I was going for the platinum. Speaking of going for the platinum, Endless Eclipse mode will make you want to jump off of a tall building. It is the most funless, boring, grindy, time-consuming mode I've ever played in a video game. As I said, I've played a lot of Warriors games. Samurai Warriors 2, the fucking survival castle, whatever. That sucked and was very boring. But I would say it even has some improvements over the Endless Eclipse mode. Suffice to say, I'm not going to actually show you the Endless Eclipse mode. That's not what this review is about. Watch a different video, look at Endless Eclipse, and I promise, this is a challenge. Go out there and find somebody who has something nice to say about this mode. It is dog shit boring. Okay? I've never heard anybody say that new. Dog shit boring. It is the least fun that I've ever had with a Warriors game. Seriously. Seriously. And I mean that straight up. It is not enjoyable whatsoever. And, I feel like they talked about, when they were sitting down at the meeting, right, deciding what all was going to be in the Berserk game, they went through the story mode and the free mode. They were like, okay, story mode, we'll do our best to go through the story and put our own special spin on it. Okay, free mode, you can play as whatever character and whatever costume you want, because costumes do actually impact the performance of certain characters. For those who know Berserk and the story and whatever, you can probably get a good idea as to why. Endless Eclipse mode. They were having this meeting, and they're like, well, damn, we're going to charge $60 for this game. Story mode, it's not the lengthiest thing. There's not much replayability there. What are we going to do? If we put it out just like that, people bitch and complain that there's not enough to do in the game. My man raised his hand. He said, "You know that stupid ass stuff we put in other games that involves like the castle, you know, with the different floors?" It's like, yeah. I said, "Well, we'll put that shit in there." I said, "Well, okay, but what would be the incentive of playing it? Costumes, war horses. We'll put some variety, some spice in there. People gotta grind through the shit if they want to get a different colored horse or whatever." That's a brilliant idea. Bonus for you. Well, to the genius or geniuses that came up with this, I hope your mama smacks you in the mouth. If she's dead, I hope she rises from the grave just to smack you so she can go back to the grave. Because that shit is the most boring, uninspired even. I would say uninspired. It's not like somebody tried to do something and it just failed. It was, in my opinion, an obvious attempt to artificially extend the game. It's bad. Enough rant on that. Enough of a rant on that. I would rather it actually not even be in the game. I would think much higher of the game if it wasn't. Now, that being said, the special eggs, the special objectives that you've seen throughout the story mode can also be, I say can also be, I meant to say, have to also be obtained in Endless Eclipse mode. For example, here, I clicked on events by mistake. I meant to click on awards. For these pictures right here, I have a few of them completed. You know, okay, pretty cool. You can click on them. You can also play this puck minigame, which is a lot of fun. Watch this. This is actually funner than the Endless Eclipse mode, by the way. Our best is 121. Oh yeah. Oh, 35. And, you know, you can sort of play around with it there. You can see Judo lurking in the background, watching a naked man and a much too enthusiastic dude with a giant sword throw water at each other. You can't rotate it in such a way that you can see Griffith's dangly bits or whatever. You just sort of, you know, go side to side here. These pictures are pretty cool. I like them. The way that you get them is a pain in the ass. You can see Endless Eclipse, you know, whatever. The way that you actually get those in those Endless Eclipse missions is that on certain layers they insert a stray war demon, which is just a really hard regular enemy. And that's some bullshit. For some of these, like, yeah, see, story mode, collect the Enoch village. Oh, that's the booty right there. That's a booty. A lot of these you get in the story missions, and for the story missions, they have actual objectives, as opposed to just killing stray war demons. Which, once again, because I don't know if I said it enough, the Endless Eclipse mode is just some bullshit. And this is it here. Let's see, equipment. Can you access the war horses here? These are your war horses. The stats are actually not appearing. A lot of the... Okay, you gotta click show info, of course. God, I feel like such a dumbass sometimes. Some of them have different stats, you know. You can get the Skeleton Knight's warhorse. You actually cannot play as the Skeleton Knight. But you unlock these through Endless Eclipse. A lot of these I haven't unlocked because there's no way I'm doing that Endless Eclipse shit. Not ever. Wouldn't do it if my life depended on it, probably. But, there's that. Sub weapons are cool, I guess. Music in the game is good. It's more of the same. If you played a Warriors game, you probably know about what to expect from there. You can play as Puck in the loading screen. Boop, 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 boop. Puck is actually playing as Puck is seriously more fun than Endless Eclipse mode. There you go. Just to wrap up, I'll show you the characters. I don't have all of the costumes, but you can play as, of course, Guts. You'll play as Guts most of the time. The Berserker armor is really cool. Sort of spoiler here, you can play as the full armor here. And these are two of the unlockable outfits. It's just the same outfits, but with a helmet on them. If you change the outfit, the sub-weapon will change. Griffith. I like to rock the Helmed Hawk Reborn. For him. Griffith, I don't know. I feel like Guts, Griffith, and Casca are actually the only strong characters. Like, for example, Serpico is just absolutely god-awful. Such a bad character. Shirkei is really fun, and she's the only one that actually really plays differently. Most of them is just, you know, the box, triangle thrown in occasionally. But Shirkei actually plays a little bit differently. Anyway, you can play as Guts, Griffith, Casca, Judo, Serpico, Shirkei, Zod, Wild. And there you are, people. That's it. No more. Pippin makes an appearance. Rickert makes an appearance. Farnese. Yeah, I think that's how you say her name. Makes an appearance. Can't play as them. You know, they just appear as generic enemies or allies and enemies in some cases, whatever. So to wrap up, I know the last part got a little bit rambling. To wrap up, that by the way, the DLC for this game is fucking terrible. Yeah, sure. Connect to the PlayStation Store. Content cannot be selected at this time, but suffice to say, it's all overpriced and expensive as a motherfucker. So, to wrap up, the game is decent, it's shallow. If you're not a Berserk fan already, you probably will not get much enjoyment out of this game. You will not become a fan of Berserk after playing this game, most likely. There's just not a lot here. This is not a $60 game. I wouldn't say this is a $50 game. Wouldn't even say it's a $40. For $30, $25 territory, this is pretty fun. It's more mindless, and I mean that, I swear, in, you know, the most loving way. Mindless fun that you don't have to work too hard at. The blood and shit can be really fun. That is something that's unique to this game. With Guts, you can tear people in half and shit with the big old swords. You know, you can, as Wild, you can, or Anzod, you can just fucking pick somebody up, chuck them across the map there. There are fun elements. And as far as Warriors games go, this one is decent. You will not have much replayability for it, though. Endless Eclipse mode is absolutely trash tier. Don't even waste your time with it. If I didn't actually, I wanted to get the Platinum Trophy, and if it wasn't for that, I would not have even touched Endless Eclipse mode. I would have played it and said, you know what, this probably isn't for me, just quit. But I had to force myself on. And that'll be it. Now, this last part is not related to the review, but I want to throw this in there anyway. Just in the hope that all of my work here will be appreciated. I know this seems like a low effort, 20-minute rambling, but I have spent a great deal of time and money to bring it to you. Hours I have spent trying to get this perfect. So much shit just kept happening. Whatever. Literally, this is the third, or actually, it's the fourth attempt that I've made to record this just today. So, if you would please consider liking the video. I appreciate it. Please, if you've played the game, share your thoughts with me. I know a lot of these review videos attract people who are looking for a conflicting opinion so that they can dislike and shit on the person who thinks differently than they do. I have encountered that quite a bit, as it turns out. I would... I don't know, it helped me feel like it was worth it. I do understand this game is no longer relevant. But I felt that it'd be fun to talk about, and I know that these types of videos are expected from me. Which is fine. So thank you for watching. My opinion about Berserk is just that, an opinion. It's only as important as you think that it is. So don't crucify me or whatever. Verbally crucify. I hope that nobody would physically crucify me, but don't verbally crucify me and tear me a new asshole in the comment section.